Hey everyone. So you'll notice in this video that the audio is a little bit different than the video, and that's because there was so much honking in the background that I had to redo the audio. So bear with me. But welcome to this first video on relieving tension. Tension is stored in the body in many different ways, and you might be experiencing some joint discomfort because of how the body really holds on to stress. So the purpose of today is to help show you how a small tool, which is using the ball, can become your best friend. You might notice that when you try to lift up your arm, that it only goes so far, or when you try to move your hips, there's some discomfort with your hips. And so the purpose of this video is to really support you in relieving that tension with using the ball and different rollout techniques that you can feel so much better in your body. And this little ball is going to be your best friend. It's sort of like giving your body a self-massage. So you can do this at any time of the day, when you first wake up, when you are going to bed, when you want to have a little break at your desk. And there's so much that also contributes to tension in the body. There's our emotions. Maybe we haven't been sleeping well. Maybe we got into a fight with our partner the other day. And so, even how we eat. So I just want you to be present and aware of these things. Have I been hydrated and drinking enough water? Have I been over-exercising? Or am I really pushing it with movement and maybe I haven't stretched or rolled out at all? So just being present to some of these things, because they do contribute to the amount of tension in the body. So just take a moment now to take a nice deep breath into the body, asking the body what it needs in this moment. Big deep breath in, big deep breath out. And this breath is going to be used as a tool as we roll out. So continue to breathe, which helps to relax the body and help us get into our parasympathetic nervous system. And you can even set your intention for this practice as we start to use the ball to roll out. So before I start to show you this rollout technique, and by the way, you can practice this at any time, again, which I've mentioned, I want to show you how I think when it comes to rolling out, because, I might not go over some of the target areas that you are interested in. So I want to educate you about how I really create that connection with my body and how I approach joint discomfort. So you'll notice that the body has some main joints. There's your shoulders, your hips, there's your knees, your ankles. Your spine also has numerous joints in it. So some joints are not meant to be, stretched, let's say, such as the knees. We don't stretch knees. We also don't necessarily stretch joints, but we can definitely massage the muscles around the joints. Some people also believe that they want to strengthen the joints, such as the shoulders, but really what we're doing is we're strengthening the muscles around the joints. So I want to show you how you can do this safely. So let's say I have some discomfort in my shoulder, and I want to think about what are the attaching muscles around my shoulder. You can see that my chest muscles insert to my shoulder joint. I have my bicep, tricep, deltoid muscles that all insert into my shoulder joint. I even have all the muscles that run down my neck and my traps that insert into the shoulder. And in between my shoulder blades, or in between my scapula, there's a network of back muscles that also connects into the shoulder. So, look at what a system your body is. And so before you roll out that area, you can start to think about, okay, my shoulder is feeling achy. Could it be that the surrounding muscles around this area are tight? Same thing goes for the hip. I mean, you want to look at what are the connecting tissues that join into the hip. I've got quads, hamstrings, my glutes. So today I'm going to show you how you can roll out these areas using the breath to help relax you and using just a general awareness of all the systems that connect into the joints. So you'll notice in this video, I place the ball right in between my shoulder blades and I lie down and I make sure that it's not on any of my joints or bones. It's on the musculature. So I'm lying down with the ball massaging the muscle that is in between one of my shoulder blades and my spine. And I'm taking big, deep breaths here, breathing in and breathing out. It's really important not to tense up while we do this, but you do want to have an awareness of how the body's feeling, because if it's too intense, your body will tense up. But if you're aligned to your breath, the body can relax. So what I do is I take about 5 to 10 big deep breaths with the ball in one spot or one location on the muscles between my scapula and my spine. And then I move the ball to a different area. Maybe I move that ball 1 inch down. And I take big, big, big deep breaths into the ball or into my belly. If you're finding the intensity too much, then you want to use a softer ball. If you feel the intensity is not enough, then you can move the arm. You can see how I start to move my arm in order to really just massage that muscle and see if I can improve my range of motion while I am relieving tension at the same time. So big deep breath in, I'm lifting that arm up overhead, and big deep breath out, I am dropping the arm down. Now you can continue to move the ball down so that you find a new pressure point on that back in between the scapula. So inhaling, lifting that arm up, and exhaling, bringing the arm down. Nice and slowly, big deep breath in, big deep breath out. What is the body speaking to you? Is the body feeling super tense? And maybe you roll that ball even down a little bit further down to give yourself another tension spot and just feeling how that feels for you. Taking big deep breaths in and big deep breaths out. And maybe you even decide to move the arm. You can move the arm however you like. Maybe up and down feels good for you. Maybe side to side feels good for you. Or maybe you just decide to lay down as it is. You might feel that this practice is very intense, so feel free to ease up on it, take a break, come back to it. Or you might really want to put a little bit more weight into it. Maybe you try finding a harder ball to use. Now that we've reached those back muscles that connect into the shoulders, what I'm thinking about now is what are some of the other areas that connect into the shoulder? And right under my armpit is the lat, which is the muscle that runs down my side. And so there are quite a few tension spots that are right under that armpit, and I tend to use a lighter ball for this, so I just switched balls, and I'm going to lie down on my side, right where the armpit kind of connects into the lat. You can see it in the video here. It might feel incredibly intense, so make sure you're breathing. Nice big deep breath in and big deep breath out. You can also do this with a larger roller if you don't have a ball. Even a broomstick will work. Focusing on the breath here, breathing. And try to roll around and look for some tension spots here. And if that feels comfortable, you're going to move the arm up and down. Big deep breaths in. Big deep breaths out. Big deep breaths in. And big deep breaths out. You're going to roll that ball down, finding another place around the lat. Maybe you try a little bit further back or a little bit further forward, wiggle around. And we're going to do the same thing. Nice big deep breaths in. Nice big deep breaths out. Big deep breaths in. And big deep breaths out. Going nice and gentle, moving the arm if you can. For 3, 2, 1. And maybe seeing if you can find another pressure point. Really just feel around and see if you can lay down on that pressure point. It might be right where that lat connects into the armpit. And I'm just moving side to side here. I'm tuning into the shoulder. If you can't lift the shoulder the way I'm lifting it, don't force it. Just be nice and gentle with your body. Breathing here. And for 1. So thinking now about the last part that we haven't rolled out, which is our chest. So seeing how I place the ball not on my shoulder, but on the muscle part where my chest muscles insert to my shoulder. So I'm going to turn around and lie down onto this ball on my stomach. And I'm going to massage my chest muscles, my pecs, my pec major and pec minor. And I'm just moving around a little bit on that ball. I'm letting the ball massage my breast and chest area. I'm breathing here. And I'm looking for tension spots. I'm looking for where it feels sore. And when I do find a spot that feels sore, I pause on it. And I pause and I take big breaths. Maybe I pause and I lift my arm up. But if my shoulder isn't able to move above my head, that means that I don't have the mobility yet. So not to force that at all, just to listen to your body, never to push past pain, especially if it's a sharp pain. But definitely to be breathing into the places that feel tense. Knowing when it's your time to back off and knowing when it's your time to lean into your edge. For 3, 2, 1. Now I'm looking for a tension spot, a different one maybe something lower on my chest. Just pausing there and massaging it, breathing onto this ball. For 3, for 2, and for 1. So good, guys. Now just test and retest your shoulder. Maybe you pause this video and see if you want to practice all of those 3 areas on the other side. And observe how it feels now to lift up your arm and see if you have greater mobility there. Now, typically for back discomfort, and if you do struggle with back pain, I want to think about what are the connecting tissues that connect into the back. You can see that I'm massaging my glutes. There's also my low back. There's my upper back. There's my scapula. There's also my psoas, which connects into my hip and the connecting tissue that then flows into the back. You can always look at the anatomy of the musculature system. But just tuning into where you want to start. Maybe you want to start with the glute like I'm starting here. And you're going to sit right down on that ball. It literally looks like I'm trying to squish that ball into the earth with my bum. And I'm just massaging the ball into my bum, finding or looking for tension spots. If you want to get a harder ball, you're welcome to. And just maybe playing with moving side to side on the ball or moving back and forth. Eventually, when you feel comfortable, you're going to try to open and close the leg. You can notice that I am trying to improve the range of motion of my hip by opening and closing that leg while I have that ball massaging me. Big deep breaths into the belly. And big deep breaths out. Just staying here on your point of tension. Maybe you try moving the leg differently. Maybe it's forward and back, or maybe it's open and close. What this is doing is it's relieving tension in the bum muscles that connect into the back. Big deep breath in. Big deep breath out. Notice how much discomfort you're in. If this isn't the spot for you, then roll into another spot. Maybe you move that ball a little bit further up towards your tailbone, or maybe you move it a little bit on the side towards your hip. You can notice I'm on a little bit of an angle, and I'm inching that ball closer to my hip joint. More side glute. All of these muscles are connected, and so it will help relieve tension in the hips and in the back at the same time. Big deep breaths here. Opening and closing the leg if you can. Big deep breaths in. Big deep breaths out. For 3, 2, and 1. And now you're going to notice I'm coming right onto my side on my side glute. There's some really tense muscles in that corner where the hip really meets the glute, and I wonder if you can find some of those points of tension. They're kind of like little pressure points. You can always put your elbow down to support the shoulder, laying down on your side. Once you've found a pressure point, just taking big deep breaths. If you'd like, you can try to straighten that leg or not. That might be too intense for you. You can just stay on the ball and breathe. Big deep breaths in. Big deep breaths out. Maybe you tried lying down and seeing how that feels different. Moving up and down and side to side on that ball. Great. Now I'm going to show you when you roll out the back. You don't want to roll out the spine, never rolling onto the joint, but you want to roll right beside the spine. There's quite a line, there's 2 lines of tense muscles right beside the spine on either side. And you can imagine that if we've never really given this back part of us some love, how much tension our back is holding on to. So placing the ball underneath the back and laying down on it. And really just taking nice, big, deep breaths in and big, deep breaths out. Big, deep breaths in and big, deep breaths out. Maybe moving that ball up a little bit. Finding the next pressure point. Really tuning in here. Almost asking if the back had a voice. What's it saying to you? Making sure it's not a sharp pain that's here. If you do have an acute back injury, make sure that you do see a professional. But really just tuning into the points of tension where your body does need some love. Don't forget your breath. Always remember your breath here as you're laying down on this ball. Giving thanks to your body. Even visualizing your body relaxing and easing that ball into it. Big deep breaths. Maybe you even roll that ball up a couple inches to one more point of tension on that side of the back, same side. Or maybe you pause the video and you decide to do the other side of the glute and the back. So now that we've done a little bit of the glute, the back, and the shoulder, think about someone who has maybe some knee tension, or not even if you are an athlete, rolling out the quads and the hamstring and the leg muscles really help relieve tension in the knees and also in the hips. So we're going to start with placing the ball right along the quad, the middle, and the inside. And I want to think about all of those muscles that connect into the knee. So notice that I'm just massaging the outside of my quad. And as I allow that ball to massage into my quad, I'm going to try to extend and flex my leg. Maybe your quads are super tight and just using the ball in this way might be enough without the movement, just with the breath. Or maybe you do try to extend that leg. Maybe I add some weight by closing my legs and putting a little bit more pressure on the ball. But I'm really just breathing with that ball on the outside of my quad. Notice it's not on my knee, it's on the outside of my quad. Great. Bending and extending if you can. Nice. For 3. For 2. And for 1. Moving that ball to the middle of my quad, and notice I'm going to just roll over here and lay right down on that ball. I'm moving my leg side to side on the ball. I'm just really letting that ball massage my quads. My quads might be super tight if I used to be a runner or if I still run. Just thinking about all the weight that your legs carry all day, carrying you. For 3, 2, 1. And now you're going to squeeze the bum. And you're going to try to bend and extend that leg. Just observing how the quad feels. Just see if you can. There's no pressure to. But just seeing how your quad feels with that ball that's still there. And you are bending that leg. Trying to get that heel to your bum. Perfect. And now we're going to find the inside of the quad. Taking some nice big deep breaths here. I'm literally going to place my leg forward and the ball is massaging that inside just above the knee, not on the knee. And I'm moving around looking for tense spots. I'm breathing here. Big deep breaths in. Big deep breaths out. For 3, for 2, and for 1. Now I'm flexing and extending that leg and then bending it. I'm really reaching and extending and bending it. always make sure you can readjust. You might want to stay stuck on one spot if you find that point of tension, or you might want to just move around. Notice that you can do the outside, middle, and inside of the quad all the way up the leg. So don't stay stagnant, but you can go up and down, side to side, all the way up that quad. Play around here with the ball. Please make sure to breathe, especially around the IT band is very tense and tight. But your body is loving this. There's nothing better you could be doing for your body to relieve tension. That's quite the full body rollout for now. The last one I will show you is where the calf connects into the knee and the hamstring. You could also simply stretch out the calf by lifting up the toes and pressing into the wall with your toes, or you can use the ball here and massage that ball side to side and in between your hamstring and your calf, and just witness how it feels. Maybe I move the ball down 1 inch and I massage. I'm putting pressure and weight, squishing that ball with my calf and my hamstring. You can also totally sit on the ball on your hamstring and roll it out as well, side to side and up and down. If your joints feel really good after this, it is a good sign you are ready for that next step, which is mobility. And if you still feel sore, it's a good sign too that this is something that we need every day. Our joints need that love. Our joints need that extra attention, especially with our stressful lifestyles. So thank you for rolling out with me. Thank you for being here with this practice. Thank you for honoring yourself and saying yes to embodied movement. Namaste. See you soon.